Hey, real quick before the video starts, just want to say if you like these videos and if they help you out, you should subscribe because that really motivates me to keep doing this. Alright, enjoy the video. Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to show you how I chose to beat the Blast-Off Challenge in Balatro. And hopefully after this, you'll have a clear path so you can beat this yourself. Alright, let's get into it. I would suggest before you do any challenge to look at the rules, restrictions, and deck, as well as the starting jokers and vouchers if there are any. It's just a good practice to be informed because you can make better decisions if you have that information. Like most other challenges, this starting section is one of the most important sections. This is because you only have 2 hands and 2 discards, so you need to make sure you're playing very tactically. Here I'm trying to gun for full houses, like I pretty much always do, because they're pretty safe hands to play and they're not too hard to find. I learned from doing this challenge that getting these planet cards isn't necessarily what you want to be doing in the beginning. In the beginning, you need to survive from high chips or high mult. One of the biggest difficulties of this challenge that I found is that you can't add hands, but you can add discards. This means that you have to make sure that every hand you play counts. And I just played a high card. But that's okay because we just set ourselves up for a 3 of a kind plus 100 chips. We're all good. I see Photograph with foil on it, and I know a lot of people out there love Photograph, but I pretty much only took it because of the foil at this point. I mean, the ×2 mult will help, but our build isn't developed enough, and I don't think it can develop enough because we only have 4 joker slots. We're safe for now, but I know we need to start adding mult because this challenge is tailored towards adding mult and then buying planet cards to scale up constellation. I don't know if you saw right there before, but I want to save up for wasteful so that we can get 1 more discard. Because if we can't get hands, we need to make sure that our hands count. So here we buy it, and that's going to come in so handy in the future. Here I'm debating this coupon tag, but I'm a little afraid of the boss ability, so I give it a little respect, and we play this blind out. At this point, I've shifted my strategy from full houses to just 3 of a kinds. I mean, if we get the full house, I might play it, but I'm only looking for 3 of a kinds because they're more repeatable hands. Watching this footage back, I didn't have to play the 3 of a kind here. I could have totally played the full house so we can get Photograph in the game a little bit, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. I can't judge myself for that. I won't lie to you, I got this Arcana pack out of desperation because I felt like this build was going nowhere. But we ended up getting money instead. I realized right there that we only had 4 joker slots, even though I read it before. So I figured, might as well blow out this shop and see if we could last for this boss fight. This doesn't look so bad to me because we got 2 of the queens, so I wasn't too scared at this point. I should have maybe played 2 more cards here to set ourselves up for another 3 of a kind, but we won, so it's okay. This shop made me panic a little bit because I knew we needed to start adding mult through maybe a joker, and this shop was definitely not trying to let me do that. So I figured might as well commit to the planet constellation scaling build, you know? And I think it goes without saying that we don't really care what planet card we're getting because any of them scale up the constellation. So yeah. I also refuse to do that jumbo because I'm not paying $6 for 1 planet card. You kidding me? Now, some people might be angry here that I'm not playing the full house, but my theory is that I'm setting myself up for another 3 of a kind just to be safe. Alright? So I'm thinking about it, don't worry. Shoot the moon. This is the exact joker we were looking for. Each queen held in hand gives plus 13 mult. So now that we got this, we have a clear path to victory. We could start scaling up our constellation as well. Here I'm deciding which joker to get rid of, and I think I made a mistake by getting rid of Wily Joker instead of Photograph. Photograph kind of is the anti-synergy of Shoot the Moon if you think about it, because Photograph wants you to play face cards, where Shoot the Moon wants you to not play a certain subset of face cards. So if I can go back, I'd probably change that, but hindsight again. Nothing much to really comment on there. It was a pretty standard quick run. Here, I think I will start scaling up Constellation because we have a consistent way to add mult and a lot of mult every time. You may have seen me give advice in the past, but by the first blind, you should always be looking at what the boss ability is so you can start preparing for it. I didn't really do that much in this run, but when I got here, I was a little worried about this specific boss. But we'd been making good decisions up until this point, so I'm not terribly worried. Plus, we have Justice tarot card up in the top right, and that'll make any card we want glass. So this is just a failsafe, basically. One of the actually nice parts about this challenge is that you level up planet cards that you don't play the hands of. So here we had a pair that was level 3, and we hadn't been playing pairs up until this point, so it bailed me out. Paintbrush is really good, actually. So it's just +1 hand size, and that makes the difference when you only have 2 hands. It's more of a probability that you will get a good hand to play. So I'll take +1 hand size practically anytime. This tarot card pack was a no-brainer. Since we have Shoot the Moon, I'm going to try to make as many queens as I possibly can. It's here where I kind of realized the Photograph isn't doing us as well as it could be. So we get Blue Joker instead to add more chips than even the holographic on Photograph was giving us. Obviously, when you're playing, you're not really thinking much about this, but like, I feel like this is the 3rd time we've played 666, and that's not pretty chill. If you're wondering why I'm not just playing those 3 kings immediately, it's because I just saw those 3 6s go off like a dud, so I'm trying to get as many queens in here as possible. This is where I kind of realized I could play the full house instead of the 3 of a kind, especially now that we got rid of Wily Joker, but even so, Wily Joker would have applied to full house, so. For this challenge, if you're opening a Celestial pack, you should definitely think about which hand would help you the most, even if it's not the hand that you're trying to make a build around. So here we didn't have anything that we play, so the next most helpful hand would be pair. This queen is huge. If we add steel to that, and then if we get mime, it's game over if we get that queen. So I'm feeling a lot safer now that we have a trajectory to follow. Part of being able to do these challenges is thinking about, before you even get in the game, what your plan is gonna be, and then the other half is reacting to what you're actually getting. So keep that in mind. This is a huge example of that, is that before I went into this, I didn't think I'd be opening any standard packs, but we're trying to get as many queens as possible, and now that we have Blue Joker, we're trying to add as many cards to the deck as possible. That Polychrome 4 red seal is phenomenal. So I feel excellent. Look at how many queens we got. This is going to be a banger. Look at that. We won with a pair, which isn't even the hand we're optimizing this build for. I know I said before that I wouldn't spend $6 on a Celestial pack, but we're pretty good on money because of Rocket. And also, we have a clear goal, which is to scale up Constellation. I know I have the 3 of a kind already there, but I want to play with my new toy. I got a Red Seal Polychrome 4. I want to get that Red Seal Polychrome 4. I actually think that's a good piece of advice, is to try and see what your best case scenario score is. Try to, when you're in a safe spot, try to get all the best cards that you have and see what your maximum is. This will kind of help you gauge what you're capable of and what you should be doing to get yourself in a better spot. Now, I know we didn't end up getting it there, but later on we do. And I think it's a good piece of advice. This is pretty much a bunch of the same old stuff. Get planet cards, look for queens. And we got one. I sit here and I think about this for a sec, but I ended up getting the king because I'm thinking there's a joker called the Baron, and it's like Shoot the Moon, except for every king you hold in hand, it multiplies the mult by 1.5. So I'm thinking I might want that instead, if it comes down to it. Or on top of Shoot the Moon. You'll see that this blue seal is pretty clutch because it's just another way that we can get planet cards, but also scale up Constellation. Also, it's really good that that blue seal is on a queen because that kind of goes with the Shoot the Moon synergy because we want to hold as many queens in hand as possible. This time I'll admit it, I did goof. I should have leveled up 3 of a kind before I leveled up high card, but I don't even know if I realized 3 of a kind was there. The basic formula is going to stay the same. It's just get as many queens in hand and get any 3 of a kind. So that's what we're going to do here. But it might turn out we're a little too hot for that. Late game, actually, Rocket is amazing because it guarantees that you could pretty much buy out the entire shop if you need to. It's around here that I'm not too happy with Blue Joker, just because we're discarding a lot of cards. At this point, I've sort of realized that Rocket can carry us through any shop. So in any given shop, it's fine to get down to $0. I haven't tested it out, but I don't think that the orbital tag goes towards the constellation. If it did, I might use it. This is that time where I get to do my heat check that I told you about. Try to get as many queens as we can and try to get the best cards that we have. Play something. I forget my mind state at this time, but I think my pair is higher than my 3 of a kind is at this point. So I believe the rest of the run we're shifting towards a pair build. And that's fine because we can get pairs like nothing. But it scales slower when using planet cards, which is the only downside. By now I think you sort of get what I'm doing. So I'm only gonna jump in when there's something interesting to say during the gameplay itself. In fact, if you've been watching this far, you should subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. I want to get to 100 subscribers by the end of May, so I would like it if you'd be a part of that. Alright, thanks. Back to the game. I really can't believe after all that, I only got one queen. There we go, we got Mime. Re-trigger all card held in hand abilities. This includes Shoot the Moon. So now each queen held in hand is going to give us 26 molt. And then that molt is going to get multiplied by whatever constellation is. This isn't such a hard decision for me to get rid of Blue Joker, because at this point, chips matter way less than molt. Here I decided to just add molt to 2 of my cards because the rest of the decisions weren't that good. I'm fine with taking kings when there's no queens there, especially because this one's a steel card. But just in case we find the Baron, I want there to be a seamless transition. Also, getting the Chariot here is pretty good because I have that red seal queen that we could throw steel card onto. So we'll get 3 times the molt. And just like that, we get it. That was pretty easy. You can see that this one queen alone is insane. Like I said earlier, late game Rocket makes it so that you don't have to worry about scaling. You can just naturally scale. I'm going to clear out this whole shop of all Celestial packs. Another point that's actually worth offering is that before you're going into this, at least I thought that I'd want the Astronomer, which makes it so that all planet cards and Celestial packs in the shop are free. But when you think about it, that's only good for late game. And late game anyway, Rocket is basically doing the same thing. So I'd suggest not taking the Astronomer. The only scenario where I could go against what I just said is if it's early game and you have a shop that has both the Astronomer and some other Joker that's adding a crazy amount of molt. Something I only realized after editing this video is that Mime applies to blue seals as well. So you only need 1 blue seal card to get 2 consumables out of it. Looking back, another reason my paintbrush is actually very good is because now it provides more opportunities to get another queen, which is another 26 molt minimum. I've got to admit, I've been pretty lucky with my standard pack drawings because I feel like I've gotten a queen in nearly every single one. This boss ability doesn't really scare me much. What scares me is my ability to be able to draw a lot of queens, because that's the catalyst for this build to thrive. And we're not really doing that right now. Luckily, we get our red seal steel queen, so I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. And we also have our red seal polychrome 4, so I feel very good actually. I mean, if this isn't going to be a banger hand, I seriously don't know what is. We use this glass card because we don't want it to clog up the consumable slots, so that when we win, we actually get 2 planet cards instead of just 1. I'd say this challenge is mapped out into 2 sections. The first section is survival, which is just build up molt to survive the first 2 antes. Then the second section is scaling. In that section, you have to scale the molt that you're adding, as well as the factor of molt that you're multiplying by. And that's how you succeed in this challenge, in my opinion. Hey, Burn Joker. Definitely not the time for that card. If there was a build that this wasn't Burnt Joker time, it's this one. You have 2 discards. You're gonna waste 1 on 1 card? No way. Nope. I can't stress it enough. Always, always, always look at the boss ability before you do anything. The flips and shuffles all Joker's ability doesn't really scare me at this point because we only have 2 out of our 4 Jokers that are syntax dependent. And that's Shoot the Moon and Constellation. So the chances that they're in the right order are pretty good compared to like most other builds. And I think most people know by now, but just in case you don't, the order of the Jokers matters. So you want to be adding molt before you're multiplying it, because that'll give you a bigger number. If you multiply the molt and then add it, likely you'll get a smaller number. And the same thing actually goes with the cards you play. Let's say you have 4 molt cards that you played and 1 glass card that you're playing. The order matters. So you should order it with the 4 molt cards first, because that's going to add 16 molt, and then the glass card, because that's going to take that 16 and multiply it to 32. If you did the glass first, you're going to multiply whatever the base molt is, times 2, and then you're adding the 16. Got it? I just took that 9 because it's pretty stacked up, and it could get us out of some trouble if we get into some trouble, you know? Seeing that makes me feel very good, but also I can't expect my hand to look like that every single time. So I curb that optimism a little bit with some realism. Here I make a very stupid decision and do that instead of using death to duplicate a queen and then getting the fool to basically be able to do that again. And I realized that there. You can shame me in the comments. Shame, Steven. Something else that a lot of people forget is that when it's the blind before the last one on a challenge run, you should blow through all your money unless it's actively helping your build. So that's what we do there. Personally, I think this is one of the easiest final boss abilities because, like I'll show you in a sec, you can just go in and slow down your game speed and see exactly what each Joker is doing, and then you could fix the order based on that. So we're gonna find a hand that we want to play, and then we're gonna go into our settings and lower the game speed. I actually believe that if you lower the game speed before you even get in, you might actually be able to see how it shuffles the cards if you like pay real close attention. So this is a good tip that probably will help a lot of people, especially if you're just getting into this game. I end up playing a dud as my first hand just so that we could see how each Joker acts, so that we could have an idea of what the order is. So times 2, that's from the glass. That first Joker is Shoot the Moon, and that second one is mime because we see that the first one added 13 and the second one did the again. Since Rocket doesn't matter the order, that means that Constellation is in the proper order, and so we're fine. So I'm gonna speed up the game just because I know that we're safe. There we go, just like that, we beat the Blast Off Challenge in Balatro. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps you. I hope you beat this challenge, or maybe you see another way you could beat this challenge. If you like this video, I got plenty more like this on my channel. I also have a full unedited version of this run with commentary. If you want to go check that out, that's more your style. I also wanted to ask if you'd consider subscribing, because that really helps me and it motivates me to make more of these videos. I think by the end of May, I want to be at least 100 subscribers. So if we can get there, I'll be set. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Comment, like, subscribe, dislike, whatever. All right. Thank you so much again. Peace.